our last session we have completed with throttling process and throttling calorimeter. In today's session we will see separating calorimeter and combined separating plus throttling calorimeter, along with that numerical based on this topic. This is Faizan Kakdi and I welcome you all to our lecture series of basic mechanical engineering. So let's begin with our first topic, that is separating calorimeter. So as the name itself suggests, that separating calorimeter will separate something, which means as we know that the function of calorimeter is to determine dryness fraction of wet steam, right? So as we know that wet steam is a combination of dry steam and water molecules, which means separating calorimeter will separate dry steam and water molecules within a wet steam. Okay, so let's understand its construction. Now there are two chambers provided, one is a outer chamber and another one is a inner chamber. And on the top of an inner chamber there is a separator provided, even we can say a tray is given. This tray is slotted, which means slots are provided within this tray, so that due to inertia water droplets from a wet steam can be easily separated and then gets collected in an inner chamber. Okay, on the bottom side you can see there is a bucket provided. Within this bucket dry steam will be passed into it and it will be condensed. Okay, and on a bucket is placed on a weighing machine. So by making use of a weighing machine we can determine weight of that bucket, and ultimately that will give mass of a dry steam. On the top side there is a control valve provided. So as the name itself suggests, control valve will control the flow of wet steam whose dryness fraction has to be determined. Okay, on the left side of a outer chamber there is a scale provided, which is going to show that how much water has been collected in an inner chamber. Okay, so by using that scale we can determine how much quantity of water has been separated, that is mass mW can be easily determined. Now remember, there is one condition to use separating calorimeter, that is a separating calorimeter can only be used when steam is having more water molecules, that is having a low dryness fraction. Okay, whereas in case of a throttling calorimeter the condition was that minimum water molecules should be present in a wet steam, that is high dryness fraction. So this is totally reverse. For using a separating calorimeter it is required that water content or water molecules should be more in a wet steam. Now how it's gonna work, let's see the working of this calorimeter. So first of all we are going to open the control valve. As soon as the control valve is open, wet steam will directly flow and enter into a chamber. Okay, now as soon as it enters into a chamber, it is going to first strike the separator, that is a tray which is provided. Now as it strikes the separator, what is going to happen? So we would say that since water molecules are present in wet steam, its density will be higher compared to a dry steam. Okay, why? Because we know that dry steam will have more heat energy compared to water molecules. Because of that, more heat energy is present, so it will be in a vapor state. Okay, and density, that is weight of that dry steam, will be lesser compared to water molecules. Now what will happen? So as soon as it strikes the tray, water molecules will get stuck on the surface of a tray due to high density and inertia. And once it gets stuck, will not be lifted up, which means whatever water molecules are sticked will get collected in an inner chamber finally. So that will be a mass of water which has been separated. Whereas a dry steam, because of low density, will be easily lifted up and will flow through the space provided between the inner chamber and outer chamber in a downward direction. And that dry steam will flow into a bottom bucket which is provided over there. And in that bucket already some water will be present. Okay, so what is going to happen? So that dry steam will, as soon as enters into that bucket, will get condensed. Okay, heat transfer will take place because water is already present. So heat transfer will take place from a dry steam to a water. Now what is going to be done? So we would say that the bucket weight can be easily determined by placing it on a weighing machine, right? So the mass of a dry steam which has been condensed can be easily obtained by subtracting the mass of a water which was already present. Okay, and similarly we can obtain a mass of water molecules which are separated from an inner chamber by making use of a scale. So this scale is going to provide a height of a water which is present in the inner chamber, And once height is known, so by making use of an area into height, we can determine a volume of a water which has been occupied, and by making use of a formula of density is equal to mass upon volume, we know the density of water is 1000. So by making use of that formula, we can determine mass of water which has been present inside the inner chamber. So it is very simple. Once we have obtained mass mW, that is a mass of water molecules which has been separated, and ms, that is the mass of a dry steam which has been separated, we can directly apply our formula of a dryness fraction, that is x is equal to ms upon ms plus mw. So this is very simple. It's a direct application of a formula. Just we need to separate water molecules and a dry steam in this calorimeter. But this calorimeter only gives an approximate value for dryness fraction. It is not suitable for a steam having high dryness fraction, or we would say having minimum water molecules. So remember, there must be maximum water molecules present in a wet steam if we are using separating calorimeter. So this is the limitation of this calorimeter. So next calorimeter which we are going to see is a combination of both of them. Let's see that. That is called a combined separating and throttling calorimeter. So the diagram is displayed on your screen. Now, as you can see, I have written separating calorimeter requires high wetness and gives only approximate value of dryness fraction, and throttling calorimeter fails if steam is not at least dry after throttling, which means we are actually obtaining a superheated steam, right? But if we are not getting superheated steam, so at least the steam must be dry steam, so in order to use a throttling calorimeter. But if a steam remains wet even after throttling, then throttling calorimeter will fail, right? So this was the limitation. Hence, combined calorimeter overcomes limitation of both the calorimeters by directly combining both of them. So you can see in a diagram, first I have placed the separating calorimeter, and then after I have placed the throttling calorimeter. Now, how it's gonna work? So you can see that whatever steam which is separated by a separating calorimeter will be directly passed into a throttling calorimeter. Now, once dry steam which was present in a wet steam is separated in a separating calorimeter, then we can say that that dry steam will have a minimum water molecules, which is a requirement of a throttling calorimeter. So it can be directly passed into a second calorimeter, that is our throttling calorimeter. And throttling calorimeter will accordingly give its dryness fraction. So by using this, we are going to obtain two dryness fraction, one from a separating calorimeter, another from a throttling calorimeter. Now, since we know that dryness fraction is given by x is equal to ms upon ms plus mw, which is indicating that amount of dry steam present in a known quantity of a wet steam. Similarly, there is another fraction that is called a wetness fraction. So wetness fraction is going to indicate the amount of water molecules which is present in a wet steam. Since x was is equal to ms upon ms plus mw, so similarly wetness fraction can be obtained as 1 minus x. 1 minus x means wetness fraction, which is equal to mw upon ms plus mw. By using this equation, you can clearly see we can obtain mw, that is mass of water molecules, that is mw is equal to 1 minus x into ms plus mw. Now, how we can obtain dryness fraction by using a separating calorimeter? So I have written for separating calorimeter, x1 is equal to ms upon ms plus mw. For throttling calorimeter, as we know, enthalpy before throttling is equal to enthalpy after throttling. So before throttling, what is the condition of a steam? So we would say it will be a wet steam. And after throttling, what will be the condition of a steam? So it will be a superheated steam, right? So H1 is equal to H2. Applying this formula of wet steam, enthalpy of wet steam, we can say HF1 plus X2 HFG1 plus Hg2 plus Cps T sup minus T set. Now why I have written X2? So X2 is a dryness fraction obtained by using throttling, and X1 is a dryness fraction obtained by using separating. Okay, so we can say that X2 is equal to Hg2 plus Cps T sup minus T set minus HF1 upon HFG1. But what we need to find out? We need to find out small x, that is the actual dryness fraction of a wet steam. This is a dryness fraction which is obtained by two separate calorimeters, that is one from separating and another from throttling. But combination we need to determine. So how we can do that? So let's see our further step. Now as you can see, for combined calorimeter, we are going to use concept, that is water molecules in actual wet steam is equal to water molecules separated by separating plus water molecules passed through throttling calorimeter. This can be understood by considering a contradictory condition. Let's say that we know how much is a dryness fraction. Let's say x was is equal to 0.75. So wetness is how much? So water molecules will be 0.25, right? That is 25%. So we can say that 25% is equal to 20%. So let's say 20% is a water molecule separated by separating present in the inner chamber, plus 5%, which means 5% are the water molecules which are present in a dry steam, which was for separating calorimeter, but that dry steam was passed into throttling calorimeter. So for throttling calorimeter, it is a wet steam having 5% water molecules. So how we can write the equation for a water molecules? What is the formula for that mass? So we would say the formula will be, as we have seen, ms mw, which is equal to 1 minus x into ms plus mw. So I have directly written the formula, 1 minus x into ms plus mw equals to water molecules separated by separating. So how much is the mass of water molecules separated by separating? So we would say it is 1 minus x1 into ms plus mw plus water molecules passed into throttling calorimeter. So how much is that? So we know that we have passed ms mass into a throttling calorimeter. So ms is a total mass. Okay, so we have written 1 minus x2. Why x2? Because x2 is a dryness fraction obtained from a throttling calorimeter. So 1 minus x2 into ms. Now dividing both the side of an equation by ms plus mw, we can write 1 minus x is equal to 1 minus x1 plus 1 minus x2 into ms upon ms plus mw. Now what is ms upon ms plus mw? So we would say it is a dryness fraction obtained by separating calorimeter. So it is replaced in the next step by x1. We can write this step as follows: 1 minus x is equal to 1 minus x1 plus 1 minus x2 into x1. Expanding the term, we get final equation for dryness fraction of a wet steam, which is equal to x1 into x2. So this is the final equation which will be used while solving the numericals. Okay, now let's see numerical based on this topic. So the question is displayed on your screen. Combined separating and throttling calorimeter is used to find out dryness fraction of a steam. Following readings were taken. So the readings were: main pressure, which is a pressure before throttling, P1 is given 12 bar absolute. Mass of water collected in a separating calorimeter, which means mw is given 2 kg. Mass of steam condensed in throttling calorimeter, that is ms, is given 20 kg. Temperature of steam after throttling, that is 110 degrees Celsius, which means after throttling we know steam becomes superheated, right? So T soup is given, that is a temperature measured by a thermometer present in a throttling calorimeter. Okay, that is T soup. Then pressure of a steam after throttling, which means a pressure which is measured by manometer, that is U-tube manometer, and U-tube manometer measures pressure of a superheated steam. That means pressure P2 is given. Okay, assume Cp of steam, that is Cps, is given 2.1 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. Calculate dryness fraction of a steam. So first of all, we can write data. So data, according to that, P1 is given 12 bar, as I have told, mw is 2 kg, ms is 20 kg, T soup is. Now converting it into Kelvin, right? So it is given in degrees Celsius. So adding by 273. So 110 plus 273, we get 383 Kelvin. Okay. Next is P2 is given 1 bar, Cps is given 2.1 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. We need to determine combined calorimeter dryness fraction, that is x. Okay, so how we can proceed? So to determine x, what is the formula? X is equal to x1 into x2, where x1 is a dryness fraction from separating calorimeter, x2 is a dryness fraction from a throttling calorimeter. So first let us find out x1. Now for separating calorimeter, we know the formula to determine x1, which is equal to ms upon ms plus mw. So this is a direct application of a formula. We are going to substitute the value of ms and mw. So we can write 20 upon 22, that is dryness fraction x1 from a separating calorimeter is 0.9090. Now let's do for throttling calorimeter. So we know the formula is h1 is equal to h2. Directly I am using the equation x2 is equal to hg2 plus Cps T soup minus T set minus hf1 upon hfg1. Now the most important thing which we need to note down is that hf1 and hfg1 we are going to see from a steam table at a pressure of P1, that is 12 bar, which is given. Okay, so at pressure P1, note down HF1 and HFG1. And at pressure P2, that is after throttling pressure, we are going to see the value of Hg2. This you need to keep in mind. Okay, Hg2 and T set. So we get at pressure P2 1 bar, we get T set is equal to 99.6 degrees Celsius, and Hg2 we get 2675.4 kilojoule per kg. Similarly, HF1 is 798.4 kilojoule per kg at pressure 12 bar. HFG1 is 1984.3 kilojoule per kg. Okay, so we can directly substitute these values which we have found out from a steam table, that is X2 is equal to 2675.4, which is our Hg2, plus CPS, that is CPS is 2.1, in a bracket T sup minus T set, which means T sup is 110 minus 99.6, that is our T set obtained at pressure P2. Okay, minus HF1, which is 798.4, upon HFG1, which is 1984.3. Okay, so we get X2 is equal to 0.9569. But our target is what? Our target is to find out X. So it is equal to X1 into X2. The final answer of X is 0.8698. Okay guys, so I hope that you are clear with this numerical of a combined calorimeter. So in today's session, we are completing with our chapter of properties of steam. In our next session, we will start with our new chapter. Till then, stay tuned and thank you all.